Boop, 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 boop. Hello. Welcome to Word of Wisdom Wednesday with me, Theresa White, the Black Trauma Therapist. So, if this is your first Wednesday with me, welcome, welcome. So, this is something that I just want to share. This is nothing that's going to be long. It's not like our podcast that maybe about 30, 40 minutes. This is going to be our quick 4 or 5 minute video that just tells you proverbs or wisdom nuggets from my therapy experiences, um, and from either conversations during the time that this past week has happened. But today's word of wisdom, I'm going to give you the actual statement or phrase. That's the word of wisdom. And then I'm going to actually explain, because this was a little bit different. It's going to be a premise of not really this week, but I heard it today. So we're going to play it that way. How about that? So share the video. Feel free to like, share, subscribe. If you are here, say hi to me. Let me know where you're watching from. Are you at home? Are you at work? Are you just kind of sitting mindlessly scrolling and then I popped up? Because that happens a lot, right? So yes, yes, yes. Welcome, welcome. I'm going to give you just a moment to come on in. So you can come on in, whether you're watching on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube. Come on in a room. Come on in a room. Not really in the room, you're on the book, but you get the point. Open your book. So today's today's word of wisdom is coming from actually the podcast that is being released today. On, if you didn't know if I had if you know I had a podcast, I do have a podcast, and I've been having a podcast for the last 5 years, since 2019. Actually, May will be April. The end of April/May is actually my 5 year anniversary. So not technically 5 years yet, but it's coming. So, but I have been in business for 5 years. And since this is Women's History Month, let me first say that women, happy Women's History Month for all those who have made history, those who are making history, and those who plan to make history. Happy Women's History Month. I'm so glad you're here, because right now we're making history. So this is a premise of an idea that just popped into my spirit, is what I like to say. That just got a quick download from heaven. And it was just like, how about you share some wisdom moments or nuggets? I just keep getting in my face. Wisdom nuggets or moments from your therapy experiences. And so sometimes you will hear me share something that popped up from actually a client that I'm working with. And I will ask them beforehand if I can share before I do. Sometimes it's just coming from me. If it's coming from me, I got my own permission. You know how that goes. If it's coming from other people, of course, that would be very different. So today's, I said I won't be here long. I'm already been on 3 minutes and I didn't even get out of wisdom nugget yet. I'm so sorry, y'all. Wisdom nugget. I was kind of debating between this one because I heard it as I was reviewing, just the podcast episode for today. And you want to get it, okay? Because it is death to the Black woman/superwoman syndrome, okay? On our podcast, it's called Proverbs of the Black Trauma Therapist, of course, where I give wisdom nuggets and ways to be able to live life with the social mental stressors of the world. Okay. You can see the podcast on Spotify or Apple. And you can also go to our YouTube page as well, which is called the Black Trauma Therapist, to be able to find our podcast. We're going to have one on there as well. But anyway, I would love your support. Let me not say anyway. Let me pause, and I'm not ashamed to give this plug. So I would love to have you support the podcast, share it. I think we have some very, very poignant moments that are like, whoa. Like, I will tell you that. I'm going to tell you this week's podcast, because it's with our guest is with Theresa Sears. Our names are very similar, which is really funny. But she is the founder and CEO of Sears Media Productions and Entertainment. And she has a great event. You probably have seen it on my page already. If you haven't, go to my page and follow. She has a great event coming up at the end of this month. which is going to be the premiere of a documentary called Death to the Superwoman Syndrome, the Black woman, Death to Superwoman Syndrome. And I have been a part of that documentary, and I'm so glad to be able to be a part of it. And I'm going to be there to support it. So come join us. With listening to that podcast and just reviewing some of those things that we talked about, recorded back a while ago, or some time ago, some of the nuggets came up, and I was like, "Ooh, oh, ouch, okay," and it just kept happening. Okay, so I said, "You know what? That's going to be the wisdom nugget. I'm gonna change the one that I was going to do. That's gonna be it." Okay, so I was struggling between two of them. One and both of them, God dropped on me. But one of them, I think they kind of go hand in hand. But I'm gonna share this one right now. So this first one is, well, I won't say both of them. I may not share both. I said I'm gonna give one because I ain't gonna keep that here all day. You said my brain works. Yeah, that's how. Sometimes I have to pause myself and explain what I'm not gonna do and what I am gonna do. That happens to me sometimes. Wisdom nugget for today is perceived good stuff will burn you out. God stuff will light you up. I'll say that again. Perceived good stuff will burn you out. But the God stuff will light you up or give you life. How about I say it that way? So let me explain. So with talking about the many hats that we as women can wear, particularly since the topic was about Black women and that superwoman syndrome and trying to be the strong Black woman and doing all these things. It was like, I mean, people say, well, like, I think I'm doing good things. I'm helping everybody. I'm doing all this stuff, but you burnt out. Okay. Like you are really struggling with a balance. You're not sleeping. You're not eating because you're running around trying to do all this stuff. And it's really for other people. It's not really, and maybe it's for you in the sense that it is building up an ego or building up your esteem or making you feel good, but it's not really for you. You're doing it for other people, which is not a bad thing to do things for other people. That's why this statement came out, because a lot of people have come to me, and I've heard this throughout my therapy experiences. Again, I've been in therapist for 15 years now, more than 15. But anyway, I feel like I'm getting old. Uh, but yeah, like people have come and said, well, but I feel like this is my gift. I'm really a good, I'm doing good things because this is something that I'm really good at. Right. Or I think it's a good thing because I think it's supposed to be good to, do all this stuff for other people, which again, in a kind of step back moment where you're just kind of looking at it overview and it's not really detailed. You don't have all the the context, right? You don't have all the context. So with that, it could just be like, you know what? It is a good thing. Help other people. And by any means, and by no means, I'm sorry, am I saying don't help other people? I absolutely want you to help other people. But sometimes we have this idea that we're doing good. And it can't be good if it's stressing you out, if it's burning you out. Because there's a scripture that says that the blessings of the Lord maketh rich. And I don't necessarily mean financially rich, but just good. It overflows and adds no sorrow. So what we were talking about, if you go listen to that episode of our on our podcast, was that we were like, if you are doing something wonderful for somebody or good, and you complaining the whole time, they always asking me, I can't never have my own time. I can't never get no sleep. It's not a good thing, right? So perceived good thing, and it's burning you out. So we're gonna say, stop that. Let's not do that, because that's not giving God glory. It's not helping you, and it ain't helping the other person. Because you know what you're gonna do in the aftermath of it. They may not hear you complain on the way to doing whatever it is you're doing for them, or for that person, or for whatever you're doing it for. But afterward, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth is gonna speak. You always asking me, whoa, where'd that come from? Right? It's because the whole time you was perceiving it was a good thing, and it really wasn't. It wasn't a God thing. And so God things that God instruct you to do, those things that are God orchestrated, those things that are God breathed. Because sometimes we have breathed on our own stuff. We say it's God, it ain't God. It's just you doing stuff that you just feel like you should do, or that makes you feel good or gives you accolades, but it's really not God stuff. It's just your stuff. And so again, it burns you out, makes you tired, depletes you. But God stuff give you life. It lights you up. Like you feel like it just gives you like jitter, like bugs all over you. And that's probably not a good example. Just like good feelings, right? Like you see me moving, like it's like, yay. And I'll give an example, like because I'm a drama therapist, when I do things that are in the drama therapy field, like sometimes I just do what we call traditional therapy with a creative twist on it. Other times I am doing like a full-fledged drama therapy, like this is the techniques, we are full-fledged in it, and people are coming out with mind-blowing things. And as I sit there, it gives me life. And it's like, why do I fight with things that are traditional or like these other methods that just don't really flow with me or don't make me, I don't know. I don't know how to explain that. But it stresses me out, right? If it can burn me out. Like, okay, dang, I could have did this, I could have did that, and I'm always thinking I could have done this in a drama therapy way, or I could have done and used this technique. And I think it would have been more enhanced session because that's the God breathe thing for me. And I hear God say, "Well, do this," and I'm like, "Well, no, God, I want to wait." And I'm always reasoning, like, "Why are you reasoning?" And really, what you're doing is arguing. Why am I arguing when I know that He knows this person sitting across from me way better than I do, right? Better than they do. So I'm gonna say because I've already been on here 10 minutes. The word of wisdom for this Wednesday for this month, or not this month. I'm sorry, this week. Again, is perceived good stuff. Because I ain't gonna say good stuff. Because some things that can be good stuff, but sometimes it's your own perception of that is good. You got to convince somebody you doing something good. No, no, you just doing stuff, and it's burning you out because you're just constantly moving. And so perceived good stuff will burn you out. God stuff will light you up. That's a think about that difference. Like it takes the light away from you to do things that God didn't tell you to do. It takes the light away from you. And I won't say like when we talk about hearing the voice of God, I'm talking about things that are like your gifts, like you enjoy doing it. Like people who love to sing, like they enjoy it. They can do it in the shower, they can do it on the road, and they love doing it. It's their God breathed thing, right? But maybe writing music is not. And you're trying to like stress yourself out to write music. It's like it's good. Okay. That's a good song, Theresa. But it's not your God breathed thing. And so it stresses you out, it burns you out. But singing brings life to you. It lights you up. So it's those kind of things. I want you, especially for Women History Month, if you're a woman watching this, I want you to actually just mentally take a note of those things that are burning you out. Most of it probably is going to be work related, just telling the truth. But those things that actually like what gives you life, like what builds you and like lights your fire. That's those things. It's like, ooh, I think I need to explore that a little bit more or a lot more if you haven't already, because that may be a clue to what you're supposed to do. So that is your word of wisdom, my wow moment of like, whoa, that really stuck out to me because I was like, that's true. I'm doing a lot of good stuff, but I'm tired and burnt out a lot of times, and I'm getting enough sleep because I just want to. It's good to stay up and talk till 3 a.m, I think, but it may not be God, right? It may not be something that's giving me life. And so that's why it's important to do those things, because God is always going to try to is always geared to give you life. He's not trying to take life from you. He's trying to give life to you. And so that's your word of wisdom. Wow. Moment for my therapy experience, or from my therapy experience. And I hope you can take this and use it and apply it. I didn't see nobody say hi to me. I feel kind of sad. Nobody gonna come in and say hi. I know y'all be popping in, seeing me. Say hi, wave at me, give a thumbs up, or like let me know you're here. But anyway, so that's your word of wisdom. Wow, for Wednesday, not at 11:55 at night this time. For those who are watching, thank you for joining. But again, we'll see you next Wednesday with another wow moment from my therapy experiences and another word of wisdom that you can live off of. Have a blessed and beautiful week and happy Women's History Month. Watch End Time Creative Counseling Services for our trivia game because we will have one again this month for Women's History Month, like we did for the Black History Month. Congrats again to our winners, which was Kelly Ayala and Brianna Bennett. Congratulations, ladies. Keep watching for Women's History Month. Have a blessed night. Bye bye.